Good morning and welcome to Rose Red Homestead. We are so happy to have you join us. This is a holiday week with Thanksgiving later in the week, and this video is going to be released on Tuesday instead of our regular Wednesday because we know most everybody is going to be so busy on Wednesday getting dinner preparations and holiday preparations ready. I want to remind everyone about our Black Friday sale this coming Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. And this first time ever is 25% off everything in our bookstore, including our 2 canning classes. Straight across the board, 25% off for 24 hours. And that will run from Friday at 8 a.m. to Saturday at 8 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. So I hope that you can take advantage of it. As you all know, we focus on food security, self-reliance, and emergency preparedness. And while this video that we're going to do really does go to all three, I want to show you how beautifully it ties into things that we are really focusing on right now. We have been really pushing Level Up Your Food Storage now for several videos. The more I'm involved with this, the more incredible I think that this plan is. It is really making a difference in how Jim and I think about our food, and especially as we are getting our freezer organized. And we just recently did a class, an RRH class, on the basics of meal planning. And today's video is all about the 10 essential items needed in your pantry for meal planning. I love lists. I grew up with lists. Mother always did lists. But there are all kinds of lists of this and that and the other all over the internet. And sometimes I just think the lists that I run across are ridiculous. But once in a while, there's one that I really think is very instructional, and that was the case with this one. This one really follows on the heels of that lesson that we did, that class on the basics of meal planning, because it helps us think about the basics that we need to have in our pantry. And that fits so beautifully right here with level 1, immediate. This is for 2 months, 60 days of meals, plus 3 days minimum of water, and the integration of our freezer, refrigerator, and pantry. And we have been going full bore on that now for over a month, and we'll be showing you our refrigerator here probably just a little bit after Thanksgiving. Probably next week that would be. So we're just about done with it, although we're still working on getting our 60 days of meals going. That's taking a little bit longer, and it gives me a whole new perspective on things. So this is a support video that will go right along with our meal planning and level 1. Now, as we have talked about before, level 2 is short-term up to about a year, and level 3 is long-term beyond a year. And then it gives the foods. But what we need to remember is that level 3 supports everything above it. Level 2 supports everything above it. And so level 1, which is our 60 days of meals, is really supported by our whole food storage plan. Today's video with these 10 essentials, a couple of them were new to me, and I'll tell you about those. But this is really level 2 and level 3 stuff that we have on hand here in our pantry, as suggested, that is supporting level 1. So the first thing that they talk about, and I've expanded their ideas because I felt like they felt a little bit short in some areas, is olive oil. And that's all they said, is just olive oil. And they said olive oil, of course, is a very basic oil, and it's good for baking, it's frying, and salad dressings. And so if you're only going to have one, olive oil maybe should be it. But I don't ever advocate having one of such a necessary staple. We also have avocado oil, and my go-to for a lot of things is canola oil. And I know many of you disapprove of the use of canola oil, but again, I want to reassure you that I have read the literature, both pro and con, regarding canola oil, and I still choose to use it. And so I back up my choice based on the research that I have read. So having these oils and others, there are plenty of others, but not just olive oil, but to have a supply of oils in our pantry is really good. Next, they mention this white wine vinegar. I had never heard of white wine vinegar. I have certainly heard of white vinegar. This is the white distilled vinegar, but that's not what this is. You've heard of red wine vinegar. Well, this is white wine vinegar. And they say this is a very mild vinegar and very useful across the board, especially in salad dressings. But I also like a variety of vinegars. And oh, I should have gotten out. In fact, I will. Here is our homemade fallen apple vinegar, and it's developing a good mother down below there. And this is really a good vinegar. But I also have the red wine that I showed you. Here's apple cider vinegar, and it is raw, so it has mother with it. And here is a good rice vinegar, and I use that a lot when I do stir fry. And we just had sweet and sour pork for dinner yesterday, and that's going to be a recipe in the new book that I'm doing on our 60 days of meals, prep for the 60 days of meals. So having a variety of vinegars really does support our food security system that we have individually and also level 1. Next in line is salt and pepper. Well, duh, that's just a given. And so just plain salt and pepper are just fine, but I've got fine ground black pepper right here. Here are peppercorns, and we have a variety of these. And we have a grinder. Here is sea salt. Here's a coarse sea salt that we have. And then kosher salt, pure and natural kosher salt. This is Diamond Crystal, which is a very light, airy salt. And we have more salts as well. So having a good supply of salt and pepper, and especially some of your salt should be iodized so that you have your daily supply of iodine if you're not getting it from any other sources. Next up is broth or stock, and they say take your pick, either vegetable or chicken. Well, I'm thinking, why take your pick? We need to have a variety of stocks available for us. And broth and stock, they are a little bit different. I use them interchangeably. I make chicken broth all the time. Here's chicken broth, and that's my last jar of it. Here's turkey broth. I have 3 jars. I also have some commercially canned beef broth, and the same for vegetable broth. And then having bouillon in several different types is also a real good thing to have available for us for our recipes in 60 days of meals. So that is really a good one to think about. Next up is rice, and I only put out one variety of rice. But of course there are many varieties of rice. And this is, they say it's just universal and very quick to do for a skillet dinner or many other things that you would like. Then also, if rice isn't a favorite with you, you could substitute that out for quinoa. We also have plenty of quinoa. And so rice is really a good staple, and that actually goes down here to level 3. And having a good amount stored of the things for level 3 is one of the things that we are striving for. Then next, which is number 6, is pasta and noodles. And we have just recently made a video, and you've most likely seen it, on how to store pasta. And so you saw the variety of things that we have. So this is how I keep egg noodles in the house, and also this is in the house. And we have things like acini di pepe, and we have, I'm not sure I'm saying that right. This is orzo, which is also pasta, and fettuccine and tortellini, and all different types of pasta for use in a variety of meals. And this is just pretty imperative to have plenty of rice and noodles. And I just recently, well, a couple of months ago, did a video on soba noodles, which was new to me. And so now we have added soba noodles to our collection of pasta and noodles. Then another level 3 biggie is beans and lentils. And you can have them in a number of ways. You can buy them in the cans, which we do. We have a supply of several different types of canned beans, including black beans, which I don't have a can of. And then we have them stored in bulk, and I bring them out of level 3, bring them into level 2, and put them in these containers to have right here in my pantry to support anything I want to do in level 1. And then with lentils, we have several different kinds. I have yellow and brown and green in the front. What is not shown here are the red lentils. I have a ton of those as well. They're out in our storage, and I didn't get them for today's video, but I have them. And this is really important for us to have a variety of beans. We probably have 12 different types of beans, dry type of beans that we have stored. And so they are a very important staple and offer a foundation of protein in many, many meals. So having those in terms of meal planning is really important. And then, of course, are the sweeteners. And having a variety of sweeteners besides white and brown sugar is also a wonderful addition to our ability to prepare meals that have a different taste and flavor, so we don't get so tired of having the same tastes over and over again in the event that we really have to subsist on what we have on hand. And so among the sweeteners they mention are these 3. This is agave syrup, this is honey, this is some of the honey from our own hives that we no longer have. Our children have our hives. This is maple syrup, this is Costco. These are the 3 that they mentioned, and then I also added molasses because sometimes I do add molasses to my breads. So it's good to have a variety of sweeteners beyond what was suggested in their list. Then, very important to have a nice supply of tomatoes in different forms. And this is organic tomato sauce. And I noticed when I pulled one out of our case, this one has a dent and is puffy. So guess where it's going? In the garbage. We don't take any chance with dented or puffed or swollen foods, but we have the rest of the case that is perfectly okay. So I'm just going to right now put that right in the trash. So here are the petite diced, which are so handy for making soups and stews. And then a year ago, I was able to can some of our own homegrown tomatoes. So you can get them stewed, you can get Italian flavor, you can get Mexican spiced tomatoes. And so having tomatoes on hand, whether you home can them yourself or watch for sales and grab up a case at a time of tomatoes, they are a staple that we really should have in our pantry. A lot of our 60 days of meals recipes do call for tomatoes, so we want to have a good supply of that. And then last, they mention coconut milk. This is a new one for me. That and the white wine vinegar were the 2 things that I had not thought about. Now, we just did a video, actually a class, on making and preserving cream soups. Several of you asked about having a class on how do we preserve cream soups, since we're not supposed to can anything with milk or any kind of dairy in it. And so we do a class on that, and I didn't even think about having coconut milk on our shelves to add as the cream in cream soups in times when fresh cream might not be available. The other thing that we have stored a lot of is evaporated milk. And I don't use sweetened condensed milk much at all, if ever, so we don't store that. But that's another one that you could also store in terms of milk. So these are the 10 things that were presented by this list. I'm going to put the link to the list at the bottom of this video so that you can actually flip to the list and look at it yourself. And they have lots of links within that. If you want to learn how to use coconut milk or white wine vinegar, they have links there for you that will take you out to recipes and other explanations of these foods. So I think this is worthwhile to think about. I think these are great. Every one of them is a very basic food and will help us with our food security. I don't think this is an exhaustive list. I think there are other things that we also need to have, and we've done We've done a video on essential spices and that sort of thing. So we're just going to keep presenting things like this for your consideration. And don't think that you have to adopt this in its fullness just the way it is, but tweak it around so that it suits you and what your needs are. And let's all keep on working on 60 days of meals. With the Thanksgiving holiday coming up, we have an opportunity to deal with perhaps a turkey carcass and turning that into some stock for us, and leftovers that we could get in our freezer that we could then pull out for one of our easy meals for our 60 days of meals. I'm thinking bigger than I have thought before. Buy big, package small has kind of become my mantra for our freezer. So thank you for joining us, and we appreciate you so very much. Share this video and click subscribe if you haven't already, so that you will get our notifications of when we post a new video. And also, you will become a part of our community. When I send out community announcements, you'll get those. And remember, our Black Friday sale coming up this Friday for 24 hours, 25% off. So thank you so much, and we will see you soon with another video.